I'm about to show you one of the SRA's published past questions from SQE1. I thought it was quite an easy question on professional conduct, but actually only 48% of candidates got it right. Let's have a look why, but only after the jingle.
If you wanna be solicitors, why don't you come and visit us at SQE TV?
So here is the question that over 50% of candidates got wrong. It's on professional conduct, as I've said, and I don't really know why candidates found this question difficult, because I thought it was relatively straightforward to get to the answer. Perhaps it's got something to do with the fact that the question is longer than the average SQE1 question. When you look at the scenario here, it can fit on one slide, but I can't fit the 5 options on there, and that's always a good indication that the question is longer than the average SQE question. But anyway, let's go through the question and see how we go. So, a solicitor works in a litigation department at a firm of solicitors. She realises that 2 of her matters are listed for hearings of 30 minutes each in the same court centre on the same morning, but before different judges. The first hearing is scheduled to start at 10:30. The second hearing is scheduled to start at 11 a.m. The solicitor intends to attend both hearings as she believes she'd be the best person to represent the clients, as she's familiar with both matters. She also believes that the first hearing will finish early enough for her to get to the second hearing on time. She therefore wants to avoid increasing the costs for either client by instructing a barrister to attend one of the hearings. The solicitor appears at the first hearing. She finds that it takes longer than anticipated to persuade the judge to rule in favour of her client, and the hearing lasts the full 30 minutes. The solicitor is 10 minutes late for the second hearing. Oh dear. The judge severely reprimands the solicitor for keeping numerous people waiting, indicating that he does not want to listen to her reasons for being late. After hearing arguments on the merits, the judge rules against the solicitor's client. The judge makes a wasted costs order against the solicitor in respect to the time the other side were kept waiting until the solicitor's arrival. And here's the question. Was the solicitor in breach of the SRA Code of Conduct for Solicitors by being late for the second hearing? And you can see there's 5 options there. Before we go through them, you'll see that it's one of those 2-tier questions where there's a yes or no answer as to whether or not the solicitor was in breach of the code, and then there's an explanation for that conclusion. And what I suggest you do before we go through the options here on the video is to freeze the video, go back to the question if you wish to recap on the facts, and try to come to one of the options as the single best answer. Make sure you got your reasoning clear, and then continue with the video to compare your reasoning with the conclusions that we reach.
SQE TV.
So how did you get on? Hopefully you've got the right answer. Let's see if you did. So just to remind you, the question was asking, was the solicitor in breach of the SRA Code of Conduct for Solicitors by being late for the second hearing? And the first option says, yes, she was in breach because she was wasting the court's time. I think there's some merit in that. Remember, one of the SRA's principles is that you've got to behave in a way that you uphold the rule of law. I don't think there's any doubt that they weren't breaching the rule of law, but you've got to uphold the proper administration of justice. And I think that's something that this particular solicitor has an issue with here, because there was a certain element of disrespect by not turning up to the hearing on time. The solicitor gambled really on the first hearing ending early. You should always bank that a hearing should run its course, and maybe sometimes it could run a little late. Even if it runs a little late, you really ought to be making sure you don't have back-to-back hearings and putting your client at risk, and also your own reputation, your firm's reputation at risk, which this solicitor did. So I think, yeah, this could well be an issue here, because there's a problem with certainly disrespecting and not upholding the proper administration of justice here. So I think that is probably the right answer. Let's see if we can rule out the others. So let's now move on and have a look at option B. Just remind ourselves, the question was saying, was the solicitor in breach of the SRA Code of Conduct by being late for the second hearing? And option B is saying, yes, she was in breach of the code, as her actions created a conflict of interest between her 2 clients. This is a really well drafted distractor. It is a wrong answer, but I can see why a number of students were tempted to go for it, because it looks a little bit like a conflict of interest. But actually, it isn't a conflict of interest. These 2 clients do not have an adverse interest against each other in relation to the same subject matter. It just so happens that their solicitor has booked themselves in a situation where they could have to be in 2 places at once, and indeed they needed to be in 2 places at once here. That isn't a conflict of interest, it's just a really bad diary malfunction on behalf of the solicitor. So yeah, I can see why people were tempted, but it's not a conflict of interest as per the Code of Conduct. So let's now have a look at option C, which says no, she wasn't in breach of the code of conduct because she was acting in the best interests of her clients to save costs. And of course, if everything had gone to plan, then that would have been the best solution for both of the clients because no additional costs of instructing another barrister would have been incurred. But of course, that is not what happened. And further costs were incurred now because the firm's been penalised in costs for the wasted time in delaying the start of the second hearing. So why is this not the right answer? Because obviously acting in the best interests of the client is one of those SRA principles that you have to uphold. But the problem is that sometimes you get a conflict between different SRA principles. The one here to act in the best interests of the client, and the one I mentioned earlier to act in the best administration of justice. And you have to decide, well, which of the two on these facts needs to trump the other. And there's no doubt at all that upholding the rule of law and the administration of justice is normally more important than acting in the best interests of any particular client. And therefore, on that basis, we have to reject option C. So let's now have a look at option D, which says no, she was not in breach of the code as the court failed to give proper consideration to why she was late. Now, it may well be that on a different fact pattern, that maybe could justify why she was late, that the wasted costs order could possibly be appealed. I don't think on these facts it could be because, for the reasons we've said, she gambled on the first hearing ending early, and there's absolutely no way that she's going to overturn that wasted costs order. But on different facts, had she had a more justifiable reason for being late, that wasted costs order could be appealed. But on these facts, she's still in breach of the code of conduct for the very reason that she gambled on that second hearing ending early, and she was late for reasons that were within her control. And therefore, the fact that the court didn't give consideration for why she was late doesn't detract from the fact that she's still in breach of the code of conduct. And finally, let's have a look at option E, which says no, she wasn't in breach as the court has sanctioned her behaviour with a wasted costs order. I think we can rule that out quite quickly. After all, these things aren't mutually exclusive. Just because the court gives you a wasted costs order doesn't mean that that is your get out of jail free card and you're no longer in breach of the code. You were in breach of the code. That's why you got the wasted costs order. Just because you're getting effectively fined or sanctioned by the court, it doesn't mean to say that the SRA couldn't pursue you for breach of the code of conduct. So that means that I think we've ruled out options B to E quite successfully. A is definitely the right answer.
SQE
I think now, having spent time having gone through the question, it's clear to see why over 50% of candidates got it wrong. First of all, I think the length of the question would have put some people off, and sometimes in the heat of an exam, candidates get quite nervous and panic into choosing the wrong answer because they're spending too much time on a question that they feel they're not going to get right because it's outside their comfort zone. But I think the majority of candidates got this one wrong because they plumped for option B or option C, but most likely option B because it does look a little bit like a conflict of interest situation. But it's not for the reasons we said. Anyway, if you're enjoying this content, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe to the channel. Tap that notification bell now, and then you'll find out as soon as our new videos drop. And as we always do when we finish a video on SQE TV, we say it's now time for the jingle.
If you wanna be solicitors, why don't you come and visit us